Hi, East Texas. Thanks for watching CBS 19 Plus, and welcome to the weekend. We're going to start with Hurricane Ian. It made landfall today at 1:05 Central Time at Georgetown, South Carolina. There goes the eye. You can see it just to the north and east of Charleston. Now, as it moves inland, the storm will quickly weaken. It'll become a tropical depression, an extratropical low, but it will bug the East Coast most of the weekend with plenty of rain. So by 8 p.m. tonight, it has moved inland and become that extratropical low. That's how fast it weakens. You still have hurricane watches along the South Carolina coast. You have tropical storm watches outside of that, just because you're still getting a lot of wind associated with that storm. It will climb up here into western Virginia, into West Virginia, as the weekend goes on. And again, the counterclockwise circulation around that storm system will bring in moisture from the Atlantic, and so it will keep the rain almost continuous into West Virginia, parts of North Carolina through the weekend. It looks like it's just going to be a fairly rainy weekend. Even into the Delmarva, it's likely raining up there. In fact, you can look at it here. This is tomorrow morning on our future Skycast, and there's that shield of rain covering all of West Virginia and the western half of Virginia. Around that, remember, you have counterclockwise flow, right? So you have a north wind, and then you have high pressure out here to the west, and that high pressure is also with a clockwise wind spilling some north winds down. So a cool, dry air mass in place essentially from Oklahoma City, Tyler, Wichita, all the way till you get into the shield of what was once Hurricane Ian. A little bit of a southerly wind for us to kick off the weekend. Winds will turn back to the west and northwest as we head through time. But this is Saturday afternoon, and we've got showers into western Pennsylvania. Yeah, the rain does come to an end in Virginia, but then watch, it settles back down into the area, and it rains most of the day Sunday along the East Coast. Northwest winds here through the weekend, or at least through Sunday, will bring us some cooler, drier air. Eventually, we'll get back into the mid-80s. It likely won't happen until next week. So it just looks like it's going to be a wonderful weekend. Some of the best weather we have all year, of course, occurs around this time. It was chilly this morning. We dropped down to 46 at Mineola and Gilmer. Longview down to 45. Henderson down to 49. Nacogdoches down to 45. Crockett and Palestine were in the 50s. Mount Pleasant was down to 44 degrees, and Sulphur Springs down to 49. I think it's going to be similar to that tonight. And again, probably Sunday morning. So we've got a weekend full of some cool weather. In fact, here's the 10-day low temperature trend. So officially in Tyler around 50 tomorrow morning, 53 Sunday morning, 54 Monday morning. So you've got 3 mornings in a row where if it gets a little cool at night, you might need a blanket. Probably haven't said that in a long time. And maybe the furnace kicks on. Otherwise, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're warming back into the lower 60s, so that by Friday, October 6th, it's lower 60s, and that should be just about average. So most of the next 10 days, our morning lows are below average. Our daytime afternoon highs are right there at average, if not slightly above. All right, coming in with this dry air, we have to talk about the current drought index. This was released Thursday, and it now expands the abnormally dry conditions almost all the way to the Louisiana border, and it adds an area of moderate drought. Haven't seen this in a few weeks in Van Zandt County, Henderson County, Anderson County, portion of Smith, and Cherokee County. So back into moderate drought categories for some of those counties just to the west. And this is the forecast rainfall for the next 7 days, and you'll notice there's not a drop of rain in the forecast. So with that in mind, today, Cherokee County on Friday added a burn ban. Houston County already had the burn ban, and Sabine County, and then out toward the DFW, several counties there were in the burn ban. Good reason for that. The humidity day by day here staying in the pleasant range Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I mean, that's good in terms of if you're like to ride a bike or you're working outside in the yard and you don't instantly sweat. You got to do a little bit of work to sweat. So we're not talking about any kind of heat indices or anything like of that nature. In fact, it might even feel a little cooler than the air temperature. So this is a very pleasant air mass. That's the plus side. The downside is that the soils are so dry and the wind could kick up at times that we are a little bit concerned about some fire danger. Tomorrow, you're looking at east to northeast winds, generally at about 5, gusting up to 12 miles an hour at times. It's just going to be a really beautiful Saturday, and I think likewise gorgeous on Sunday. But there we go. Texas A&M Forest Service issuing this forecast fire danger graphic, and it comes in with some high fire danger in parts of Angelina County, Houston County, Trinity County, Anderson County, and then over toward parts of Shelby County, San Augustine, and Sabine County. So we've got some areas out there, some state parks where we want to avoid any type of burning if we can, just because it is so dry. We did something yesterday that we hadn't done in quite some time, and that is keep the temperatures below average, and we'll likely have that come in today when the official numbers come in. Friday will also be likely below average, but we had a nice stretch there, almost 12 days in a row where the temperatures were above average, and many of our daytime highs were in the upper 90s for a couple of those days. All right, overnight tonight, down to 50 in Mount Pleasant, starlit sky, Pittsburgh down to 50, Sulphur Springs 50 degrees, more of that around Gilmer and Mineola, and in some instances these numbers might just be a little on the warm side because again, we could fall back into the upper 40s in some locations. Henderson and Jacksonville lower 50s, I think Carthage down to 50 degrees. Center will be around 50 degrees, Nacogdoches around 51. There you go, Crockett 48 degrees, starlit sky, light northeast wind. Just a fantastic night, great night, you know, for at least in the evening to be out in the back patio, maybe with a sweatshirt, something of that nature. I almost mentioned a burn pit, but we don't want to have any kind of those fire pits that you have in your backyard, especially now as dry as it is. Unfortunately, probably have to put that off for a little while till we can get some rain and then have another cool night maybe later in October where we might be able to enjoy that and not worry about any type of a spark flying and starting a grass fire or something of that nature. All right, tomorrow, hour by hour, we're up to 68 degrees by 10 a.m. By noon, we're up to 76. We're in the lower 80s with sunshine. 80 at 2 p.m., 81 at 3 o'clock, and then by 4 p.m. the temperature is up to 82 degrees. Here's the high temperature breakdown across our region in East Texas. North of Interstate 30 will be in the lower 80s, just south of I-30 toward Pittsburgh, Camp, Morris, Titus, and Franklin counties right around 80 degrees. We come into our central counties. We're looking at areas in Wood and Upshur County, low 80s. For instance, Mineola right around 82. Should be 83 from Longview to Tyler over to Marshall, Henderson and Jacksonville to Palestine right there in the mid-80s. Carthage checking in with a high temperature tomorrow of 82, and then Nacogdoches right around 84, 85 at Crockett, 85 also at Groveton. Here's the Baylor Scott and White Texas Spine and Joint Hospital 10-day forecast, and you'll notice on the 10-day forecast that we generally have high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s each one of those days. We're talking about some mostly sunny skies becoming partly cloudy as we head into the latter part of next week. So a little moisture increasing, but at best probably a 10 to 20% chance of rain, and that is it. Otherwise, it is a dry stretch, cool mornings, warm afternoons, some great October weather headed into East Texas. If it wasn't for the fire danger, this would just be a great stretch. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching CBS 19 Plus.